Ready. I'm ready.
Okay. Hi, Armando.
Hi, Anna. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic.
So,
Thank you.
welcome everybody to my channel. I'm Anna Grantner, and I'm so happy to have you here today. I am, as you know, a life coach, and this morning I have my very good friend and very special guest, Armando Contreras Galarza. That's a lot to say, Armando.
Very good. Very good.
It's a great name. And he's a great man, and he's a very good friend of mine. And Armando has so much experience as a life coach and in so many other, actually other venues too. And he's a pastor, and he's a teacher, and really just a healer in so many different areas. So, um, Armando, you are my very first guest. I'm very excited for this.
Yeah.
Yay! And so I want to, spend some time this morning getting to know you, for our viewers. I know you and all of your vast experiences, and we have such a great connection.
Yes.
We met in life coaching school. We were
Mm-hmm.
taking the program to get all of our certifications, and we connected, and we found out we have so much in common and so many different perspectives to share with each other, and hopefully with all of you. So I wanted Armando to come on and just tell us a bit about himself and also his experiences, and then obviously, if you're interested in coaching or whatever other services you can do, a pastoral counseling probably be a big one, Armando, with people.
Yes, I
And
love that.
another thing though I want to get in, Armando is multilingual. He speaks English, Spanish, German. Any other languages?
Well, let us leave it
Well,
at
let's
those
start
two.
with that. But listen, this is global. This is global. He can help so many people. And I think it's such an asset to be multilingual like that, because you really do get to experience a broad cross section of people in your life that you wouldn't otherwise be able to really connect with on that level. So I
Right.
think it's such a wonderful skill that you have. So
Thank you.
anyway,
Thank you.
without
Thank
further
you very
ado,
much.
tell us about yourself, Armando. I'm going to sit back and drink my coffee while you do this.
Oh my goodness. Well, cheers. I have my tea
Cheers.
right here.
Salud.
Salud. Mm. Ah, very good, very good. Well, thank you very much. First of all, I'm very grateful, and it's a privilege for me to be your first guest in your postcard in your channel. This is just great. I mean, as you said, we know each other. We're almost what 2 years, going into 2 years now,
Yep.
and just like you said, I mean, we may click from the very beginning, and here we are.
I
So
know.
I know. Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. I mean, we've been talking off camera about a lot of things, and so you've been in my you've been a guest in my coast, a regular guest in my
Yep.
podcast. But more of that later. Well, where should I begin, Anna? I should tell you a little bit about me. I'm Mexican, is which is weird enough because you're in Mexico
Yep.
right
And you
now.
you live in Germany. I
I
live in
live,
Mexico. It's
yeah,
crazy. Like, isn't it so
yeah,
funny how
yeah.
the world is connected?
It's
Yes.
just crazy. Yes, well, I you're in beautiful Puerto Vallarta, and I am in northern Germany. I'm in a little town that is called Luna, in the north northwest part of Germany, and I've been here for almost, well, going into 23 years already.
Yep.
Wow, time flies. Yeah, I've been here a long time. After leaving 12 years in the States, I went to college in the States and worked there for a while. I'm a pastor, as you just said before. I went to Bible college there and got my degrees there, and work in a couple of churches, doing some youth work, some pastoral work, some outreach work, some counseling, a lot of counseling, and then moved here over 20 years ago. I'm married, have 4 kids, yeah, teens, they're teenagers already. You know, the youngest is the youngest is 11. Yeah, and the oldest became 18. So anything in between.
So do you know your own name at this point? I mean, you're like,
Well, you know,
who am I? Yeah.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah. Well,
God.
sometimes it's funny, you know, when things get really crazy here at home, you know, there's a lot of movement, a lot of things going on. It's like, well, you what? No, the other one. What was your name again?
Oh my God. My mother does that. She goes right down the
Yeah,
list and
yeah,
she has a list. My sisters are Lori and Linda, and my mother's
yeah,
name is Laura. And then of course there's Anna. So she'll go Lan. She just makes it
yeah,
short, Lan, because she can't remember the kids' names. So she just goes Lan. And then
yeah.
yeah.
And then go down the list. Yeah, it happens. You know, when you're in the moment, in the stress and things, you know, you have your own things in your head, and you're like, at the end, it's a joke now. You know, here at home, so like, Papa, you don't even know your kids' names. Like, I'm sorry. but but no, yes, being here, yeah, for kids. I'm a pastor, as you said. Been doing some teaching as well in private schools here in Germany in the area of ethics, and also doing some um, coaching, more for a few years in the area of ethics and career changes, and habits and um, values and things like that, right? And but just recently this year, I decided to be my own chef, to be my own boss, and started my own business, my own coaching business. And it's a scary world when
Mm-hmm.
you're when you're alone, but I'm happy I made that transition. So yeah, I'm a tiny habits coach in that sense, and I am a goal attainment coach and a spiritual counselor in that sense. You know, as a pastor for many years, yeah, I did it all. You know, from premarital counseling to marriage counseling to you know loss, you know, mourning, you know, when people are suffering, youth counseling, and it, you know, just I don't know. I forgot the list. You know, as a pastor, you do everything
You do.
basically,
Yeah.
and I remember those days. It was long hours, and from Sunday to Sunday. You know, it seems like it never stops. It seems like you are always on the go. But it's a nice, you know, a beautiful. Well, it's not a profession; it's a call. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lifestyle when you do that. You know, it changes a little bit as a coach when you became a coach in other areas like we are doing right now as professional coaches. It's not as it's demanding, but different, different demanding
Mm-hmm.
as that. And I'm a musician as well. You know, I'm not a professional musician, meaning I don't get paid for playing.
Of course
Play.
not.
But I do play instruments. I well, I play different. But I just tell you my two favorite instruments that I play. I play guitar, and my favorite instrument from all is saxophone. I play saxophone. I play
Really?
jazz.
I
Yes.
didn't realize you played saxophone. I knew you played the guitar
Uh-huh.
well.
Yeah, I play
Okay.
saxophone. I play the tenor. Well, I play actually uh, all kinds of saxophones. But the one I have, no, although I recently acquired a second one, an alto, which is the typical, you know, just just about everyone plays that type of that size.
Okay.
But I play from the very beginning the tenor because it has a different type of tone. You know, very warm, a little bit deep. It's very silky type of tone to it. So yeah, and my favorite music is jazz, of course.
Of course. Well, yeah, that would make sense.
That
That's
makes sense.
great. So you're basically multi-talented. Is that what you're saying? I mean, you're like the
Well,
perfect,
I don't know.
well-rounded person. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I probably not the best judge of that, but yeah, I do. I do a lot of things. You know, hopefully I do it half well done. You know, I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, I do. I do. I know my way around. You know, I'm old. You know, I'm old. So
Yeah. Well, we're going to say we're wise and experienced.
yes, we are mature.
We are mature, wise,
Like wine, like
experienced.
good wine.
Good wine. Yes, we get better with time,
That's
Armando.
right.
Well,
Well,
and
that's the way I feel.
and the thing is, that's such a great, thing that you have so many outlets, because when you're a pastor and you're a teacher and when you're a coach, and a counselor, it's easy to absorb other people's energy and negative energy or their stories. And it can really become burdensome because we
Yes.
care, right? And
Right.
so sometimes it's hard to disconnect.
Yeah.
So I think that it's so great that you have so many different outlets. And then we have different layers to us. We have our artistic and creative side, we have our business side, we have,
Yeah.
the parent role, all these different things,
Mm.
elements come together.
Yes.
So I think it's so great that you are able to tap into all those different interests that you have.
It was not always that way. I just hear you, and I can think of. I remember the first years when I began. I started very young. I was involved in church work
Mhm.
as a young man, but once I became a pastor really really young. I was 24 when I was ordained, and I went. You know, I I I step on the pedal, fall, to the bottom. Is that the way you say it? I just
Yep,
like,
pedal to the
uh,
metal.
yeah,
Mhm.
I just went for it, and I was single at the time, so I spent a lot of time doing, I did it, I was doing my master's degree, and at the same time I was working, because I was, after I finished college, I was ordained, and then I went to I continue with my master's, and so I was working and studying at the same time. So for a few years, even the first years when I got married, it was hard for me to disconnect, to find that balance, just to step a little bit to the side and say like, wait, okay, you know, breathe, take it easy, and I guess it was hard for me. I have to recognize, this maybe like, I don't know if this is the right terminology, but having that savior complex, I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna help people. I'm going to, I'm gonna do this, but I'm just a man, and I can't do everything, and I
Mhm.
can't help everyone. And but it was a learning process for me to come to the point in which I needed, okay, family time, just me time, just take it easy. You have to, you know, you have to recoup yourself. So yeah, but it was hard.
Well, having balance is a real skill,
Yeah.
and learning to disconnect and
Mm,
know your boundary, that I cannot save every soul or person, or I can't
mm,
fix it. I can't
mm,
fix all these,
right.
different hurts. And all we can do is be, a sounding board and a cheerleader and an
Mm,
encourager. But really, people have to come to their own solutions. And I think that's what I like about coaching in
mm,
particular, as opposed to more therapy, counseling, is because, people have the skills and the knowledge already within them, and they have the power to fix themselves. And we are along for the ride, and to be there to, help guide them and navigate. But you cannot
yeah,
be a savior to everybody.
that's right.
So I think it's really good that you recognize that probably very young, and then developed other interests. I know for myself, I had the same issue, and I worked 24 hours a day, and I was on call
Yeah,
24 hours a day, and I would go, 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 and all of a sudden everything is fine until it isn't, and then you hit a wall and burn out, and then,
yeah,
you turn around and leave this job, and people are like, where did she go? It's
I
like,
know.
yeah, well, I'm rocking myself in the corner, like, and you have to try to have balance. And it can, because if you don't, it ruins your relationships, it ruins your
Mm.
friendships, it
Your
ruins your
health.
health.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Absolutely. So what
yeah.
made you want to do all of this and get into this? I know being a pastor is a calling, and that's probably from an early age you knew. But what made you, like, kind of go in this direction and then just keep going and expanding on that?
Well, there's a long story, but basically there was a point in my life about 8, 9 years ago, in which I am the church that I was leading, the church that I was pastoring here in Germany. Because of financial circumstances, we had to close that church. Right? It was some multi-ethnic immigrant type of church, and finances was an issue. So having long story, we just make the decision. You know what, we cannot keep going, so we closed the church, right? So then, in that crossroads, my wife and I, began to think, well, now what, right? So for a while, we tried to go. Well, my wife is German, so and she had visited Mexico before, but we thought about migrating. Well, maybe we should go to Mexico and try our luck in Mexico. But it was difficult because being a pastor, having studied theology, it was hard to really find my way in the job market, so to speak, right? But I found a job as a consultant for a company in Mexico. So I tried it for half a year. It didn't work as I expected. So that move to Mexico didn't function. And when we came back to Germany, that's the short story. I began to look for opportunities to employ my experience as basically as a counselor in that way. It was one day I got to know a person, a coach that told me, you know what? I mean, he was a career coach, so he was trying to help me to find my way, so to speak, back in Germany. And he told me, you know what? You can do what I do. I mean, you have this, yeah, you have the experience, you have the the credentials, so to speak, and so on and so forth. So why don't you try it? So I did. And at the beginning, it was hard because in Germany, it's a peculiar type of situation with how they view your degrees and things like that. But a company that work with young people in the area of career changes took a chance on me and said, like, you know what, I think you can do the job. And of course I could. I mean, I knew I could because I had done it for 20 years. A pastor, a great part of what we do is counseling and coaching, right? So ever since then, after that, of course, I got other certifications to keep growing, to keep learning, to specialize myself in different areas of coaching. But yeah, I mean, somebody took a chance on me here in Germany. I said, like, yeah, and ever since, I've been working 8 years on.
That's amazing.
I know.
So, and it only takes one person, one right connection to help us on our way. That's, I mean,
somebody
it really
that believes
is.
in you. Yeah.
Yes, that's all it takes is just one person that unlocks that belief in our minds that, like, oh, I can do this. And a lot of times it's a stranger or somebody from the outside that sees something in us and we think, oh, wow, okay. So I think that's such a great story. Thank you for sharing that, Armando.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We're coming down to the end of our time together this morning, but if you want to know more about Armando and his journey and his services that he can provide for you, please, click on the link below and he will have his bio up and we will be able to get you connected to Armando. He's an amazing man. He's a very compassionate man. He is my very good friend, and I'm so honored that you were here with us this morning to share and really kind of just, inspire, really, because you are inspirational and you do have a story and you're not old. You are wise. You are wise and experienced, my friend.
Thank you.
So,
thank you. You're very kind. Thank you.
No, I'm just speaking the truth. I don't want to lie to a pastor. I mean, that's like that's the worst. No, I'm not going to lie to a pastor. So thank you everybody for spending some time with us this morning, and we will be back next week. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you,
Thank
Armando.
you. Thank you. Bye-bye.